Welcome to the Healing Soul podcast, empowering wellness and oneness. I'm your host, Marybeth Rombach Nelson, and I am so excited to introduce Kristina Scaglione as my guest today. Welcome, Kristina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you could make the time to share your knowledge with our listeners. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you do and your background?
Yeah, sure. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I specialize in trauma and recovery. I have a private practice. I'm based in New York, but I provide hybrid services in 4 states. And I created a model that helps take therapy further than the couch. So I created a model that incorporates other wellness providers that can assist someone in their goals.
I love it. So ways to relieve stress and improve the quality of your life.
Yeah. So, obviously each one is designed for every client that comes in and what their needs are. But let's say we come up against a recommendation in therapy that maybe you need more guidance with your diet or guidance with physical wellness. I've got people that are here that do hybrid services that could either do a nutrition consultation, discuss vitamins to help support someone, or, at home workouts that can be done to help somebody feel stronger and more empowered in their own health and wellness journey.
So it sounds like it's all encompassing body, mind, and spirit.
That's exactly what we try to incorporate. Yep.
So I know I looked at your website, and you say you've got a mind spa. I've never heard that before. That is so unique. Did you
Yeah.
come up with this whole concept of what you're doing?
Yes. So the Mind Spa incorporates, like you just said, mind, body, and spirit. And we have providers that treat every aspect. So I have a concierge MD, I have a concierge NP and psychiatry aspect of it. She also does vitamin infusions and consultation on any sort of hormones that might be necessary for someone going through menopause or perimenopause. I also have a hypnotherapist, a couple of psychics that do different types of healing and coaching and readings and spiritual guidance, even spiritual coaching on how to listen to your intuition. We have we have a nutritionist, we have a private trainer, we have a massage therapist, and so each person that works in the collective provides a different service, and they also have hybrid options as well. So there's consultation and coaching and energy healing that can be done even over the screen.
Okay, I love it. So you can do telehealth and Zoom, and
Mm-hmm.
can you actually walk in also to if you're where are you located?
I'm located in Port Jefferson, New York, and
Okay.
we also have a location in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay, wonderful. So if our listeners are in that area, they can look you up and physically go in for an appointment. But I love that telehealth and Zoom and technology has really allowed us to have self-care, at a click, a moment's click, make an appointment, and you can be anywhere when you need help and reach out and receive it. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
wonderful. So, as far as I know, you have this whole resource. What do you specifically work with clients on and with?
So as a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist, I treat people for anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD. I do marriage counseling, a lot of different aspects, but I have I guess I would call it a specialty with holistic healing,
I
energy
can't.
healing. So I do
Can you turn
EFT.
your volume up?
Sure. Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
yeah, I can hear you now. For a second there, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, no
It
problem.
must be, there's something astrology today. I had problems with my Zoom too. It's like little glitches today.
No problem. Yeah, so I'm certified in DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, EMDR, EFT, which is also nicknamed tapping. I do a lot of
Okay.
different energy work in my sessions, and I specialize in law of attraction. So it's a holistic model that I use that combines a lot of different modalities in every session, depending on what's presenting for a client. But I have other clinicians that work with me that do other things. So I have a person who co-founded Root and Rise Clinical Specialists with me who does creative arts therapy, and it's a combination of creative arts and CBT. I have someone else that does RTM, which is reorganization of traumatic memories. So we have different models for each clinician that works here, but we try to combine what would help any client that walks through or contacts us for telehealth.
I love it because you could partner with all the different modalities to make a plan that would be the best wellness plan for the individual, depending on what they're experiencing.
Correct. And it's
So
customized that way on purpose. So
I love it. It's a very unique model of self-care and wellness. And you mentioned tapping. So do you feel the tapping literally moves the trauma through the body?
well, tapping will move energy through the body. So
Okay.
the trauma aspect of it has to be processed in the talking portion of it, but the
Okay.
energy that's associated with the trauma can move through the body with the meridians that we tap on, which
Okay.
also mimic acupuncture pressure points.
I love that. And that's such ancient wisdom, to the meridians and your chakras and
Right.
clearing them, opening them. And as far as post-traumatic stress, do you feel that people should share their story and then process it and then move on? Do you feel like it's more beneficial to move past it and create a new story if possible? Or I know it's just a generalization of the process of post-traumatic stress and recovery.
I would say it's not a matter of creating a new story. It's more of how can we integrate the experience so that it's not triggering the person anymore because we
Okay.
don't want to invalidate their experience. Or
Right.
if we could erase it and they wanted it erased, of course that would be an option, but that's just not how it works.
Right.
So it defines how we move through the world. So it doesn't have to have so much power associated with it. So I would say the combination of EFT, RTM, and EMDR can really help somebody reintegrate things so that they can get through their life without having this particular thing stopping them, blocking them, preventing them from growing. And it's more than just turning down the volume. It's about reprocessing it so that you can live a full and abundant life, so that this particular thing isn't identifying everything that is your life. So this doesn't have to be the one thing that defines you, basically.
I love it. So you're respecting the trauma and dealing with it and then encompassing all areas of your life, not just that one component to focus on to get
Yeah,
healthy.
almost like honor that it happened, but don't make it dictate and have power and control over how you live your life.
Right. Because I know I have friends that it is hard to get over traumatic experiences, but one friend in particular, something happened 7 years ago, and she talks about it every single day, and she's going to therapy, and I respect it, but it seems like if you have respect for it and then grow in other areas of your life, it's healthier. You see what I'm trying to say? It's like it's important to respect it, but to have that emotional and physical and spiritual growth, to have it be a part of you, but to be able to have a enriching life also.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying as well. We're trying to integrate the experience so that it doesn't define everything that you do from that point forward, or nothing that you do, because sometimes people
Right.
will be in an arrested state. So we don't want either of those options. We want you to have access to living a very full life that has a wide range of accessible emotions and a wide range of how would I say this? A wide range of experiences. I think that it's important to understand that this is a general answer
Right.
for because trauma can be a lot of different levels, a lot of different there could be a lot of different layers and intensity levels. So I would say for I hate even saying this, but run of the mill trauma, we'll call it, that would be the approach. But if it's something more significant or more severe, then we have other modalities that can assist someone in reducing fear and panic and the somatic responses that we have to that event, because it could be a lifelong journey. Someone, just because you're doing these particular things with us doesn't mean your PTSD leaves within a week. This could be
Right.
lifelong work for someone, which is kind of why the mind spa is helpful, because there's so many different ways that this could manifest in someone's life, which is why we have so many different types of practitioners that are available for the extra step that you might want to take outside of the therapy session, because you're only with me an hour a week. So outside of that, you have access to other practitioners who want to integrate other things like Reiki, yoga, breath work, massage, lymphatic drainage, red light therapy, salt room, therapy, IV vitamins. You can do nutritional coaching. You can learn how to strengthen your body so that you feel, safe and empowered in yourself. There's lots of different things that you can incorporate that will assist you to, I guess, amplify your therapy session with me between each week.
I love it. It's like loving yourself, appreciating what you've been through, and then taking all these different steps to feel better and be better.
Yeah, and you get to be the one that's in control. So you cherry pick whatever speaks to you, and we work together in the sense of they're trusted providers. I've worked with them before. I know what you're going to be in for when you choose to work with them. So I know you're in good hands. I understand each person's work enough that I'm able to incorporate what you might be experiencing in any of those sessions into your session with me. I'm able to help you really get the most for what you invest in. And it's important to emphasize that what we invest in ourselves will always pay us back.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Can you share with our listeners, did you have chronic illness or what was your passion to get involved in helping so many clients and so many souls?
I have been a therapist in the holistic field for at least 9 years. And I would say this has always been a model of mine to try to help someone. I look at the whole person, not just the presenting issue. So let's say you come and you say that the X, Y, and Z is happening. And then as I start to dig through how we got here, I find some other things that might have contributed to this being significant in your life, or even contributing to you being on a path that isn't helpful to you. So I've always had an approach of incorporating other people. The way that I got to it becoming an actual mind spa and a collective where we all work under the same roof to a degree, because there are people that are completely virtual that are just part of the collective.
Right.
Um, I did go through my own health journey during COVID. And so without having access to the traditional resources that we are accustomed to, and having to get a little bit more creative during the lockdown, I was able to figure out, oh, I have plenty of women that I work with. I just have to give them a call.
Right.
So I was able to work on certain autoimmune things that were coming up for me so that I could get better. But then when I was doing it in I guess I was doing it in a pattern that suddenly clicked for me, that I said, oh, this would be a lot easier if everybody was just available, either in one phone call or in a group call or in some sort of group setting or a collective collaborative way. So once I was able to find a building large enough for everybody to kind of coexist in the same space, that's what I did. But the
It's
model itself has always been part of my practice.
it's very innovative, and I love that you look at the whole person because, if you go to a general doctor, you've got 7 minutes and they'll give you a prescription most times, and you're really getting to the root causes of the whole person, and I love that.
Yeah, and even the general practitioner that I have working with us, as an MD who provides concierge medicine and that type of quality care, she works with all of the same providers. And the one thing that works really well with everybody that's part of us is no one will alienate anybody else's modality just because it's unfamiliar to them. They
Okay.
incorporate it regardless if they understand it, right? So even if she's a Western trained physician, she's learned by collaborating with us to incorporate all the Eastern models because it helps her client. And when her perspective is, if it's going to help my client be healthy and happy, what do I care?
Right.
So her ability to be concierge is relatively new in her career, because to your point, the 7 minute visit where
Right.
she has 40 people she has to see in a day, she didn't feel was providing the quality care that she wanted to give her clients, and she's not being paid for the extra time that she wants to sit with them, and she's getting inundated by this list, and it's just about the numbers and not the quality. And it really, it really put a bad taste in her mouth in the last couple of years because it's only gotten worse. And so
Right.
after uh she might laugh when I if she hears this, she might laugh because I did press her a little bit for a couple of years of like, you really don't like this model. You really
Uh-huh.
like what we're doing here. Why don't you just come and hang out and see what it's about? So she did that for a year. She came and hung out at our events. She met
Uh-huh.
all the providers and she's like, you know what? This is exactly what I want to do. And I want to be able to have autonomy and authority in my care with my patients. And that's super important to her. So she came on board and she's in her own way is redesigning how we treat medicine. And she's incorporating all of our wellness providers at the same time because like she says, I may not understand why that particular thing helps, but like
Uh-huh.
it's not taking anything from her to be able
Right.
to give that to her clients. And so being able to have that access to the Eastern and Western and the marriage between the two differences and to see all the great parts that overlap have been able to help every client that comes in. So even if my massage therapist that's here, if she has someone that comes in and something comes up in the Reiki that they're doing or in the energy healing that they're doing and it's outside the scope of what my massage therapist can do, she can refer to Root and Rise and then she ends up with a therapist like me. And here we are able to just we'll pick up where that person left off and continue on until we can't get any further and then we'll pass it on to someone else and then it just goes like this, a big circle.
It sounds like you've built a beautiful community of providers in holistic health.
Yeah, and it's there's so many different kinds that I mean we have a sound healer, we have a tarot card reader who does past life guidance, and we have someone else who's primarily based in Florida, but she does energy work on the computer as well, but she does crystal light bed healing. And we have other people that come in and they do journaling and they pair it with breath work, and then we have other people that do yoga and movement and mobility and flow. So we have things that are going on all the time. We have workshops that are going on. There's
Right.
virtual options for some of the workshops. And then we have just a community. And I think that's the important part is there's a community of people that support each other's growth. And if you join the collective, whether it's a person listening that wants to join, you don't have to be in New York or Florida to join. I've got someone in
So,
Canada. I've got someone in New Orleans. I have somebody in Florida. So
so since you brought that up, how can they join the community? On what's your website? Could you share that and how they
I can.
join?
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's www.limitlessintegrativewellness.com and there's a little section there that says members new or current and you just click on that and you can join by sending us a little questionnaire of like tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are, what you do, what do you like about this concept, and then we contact you from there.
Perfect. I can put that in the podcast notes too to make it nice and easy for listeners to just
Perfect.
click and then
Love that.
go. Yeah, yeah. So I know I'm a Reiki master and healer too, and like what you were saying, that if one of the partners doesn't maybe get the modality, it still works. Like
Exactly.
when you do Reiki
Exactly.
on someone and they're like, "Oh, I don't know about this." And it's like, just see if it relaxes you and makes you feel better. And then when they try it for the first time, they're like, "Wow, I feel completely relaxed, like I could go to sleep." And so it's just being open to different things and respectful of different modalities.
And that's exactly why the collective works because everybody's business is literally and figuratively their business. I'm not involved in how they run their business, but I know that they're here because they want to be part of a larger community. So I don't have anything to do with how they set their pricing or how they handle their schedule, but I'm able to give you over to them and say, like, I know them personally. They're going to take care of you. And and we do run coupons between each other. So like if you
Right.
wanted to participate in that way, of course we have discounts when they come from in-house referrals, but for the most part, everybody kind of just manages themselves and they just contribute in the collective as a community and have a camaraderie that way, and it just so happened to work out that it was all women owned and women businesses, so we just kind of kept it that way.
I love it. It's awesome. I love it. Women helping women, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I know all of our listeners have stress in their lives. What are some like easy ways, not as their psychiatrist or doctor, but just in general, like ways to health that to reduce stress? For me, it's meditation and yoga. So what would you suggest, just to reduce daily stress?
I would say having a morning and evening routine is really helpful, and it doesn't have to be very complex. Sometimes when I say routine, people start to freak out and they're like, I don't have time to do anything else. I don't have time to add anything else to my life. And it really doesn't have to be something that you add, it's something that you tweak because we already have a routine. And oftentimes when I have people tell me that they can't do a routine in the morning, that's just too busy. My first question is, do you put clothes on before you go to work? Oh, do you go
Right,
there naked? There's
right,
consequences if you leave your house naked, right? So
right.
if you have time to put your clothes on, then you have time to have a morning routine. We'll just throw it into something that already exists.
I
And
mean,
it
it
can
could
be
be
a
as
really
simple
small.
as, oh, I'm sorry, as simple as a morning affirmation.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going to start. It can be a
Oh,
morning
okay.
affirmation that's on your mirror or on your
Uh-huh.
closet door or somewhere where you're standing to get ready or by your coffee machine, because sometimes people just make their coffee and it's an automatic. They go downstairs, they go to their K cup machine or their whatever machine, and they can have the affirmation written there. And it could be something as simple as that. And routines, they're not obvious at first. People don't realize how significant of an impact positively that it has in people's lives until they don't have one at all or they abandon it, and then they realize, oh wow, that was really helping me, because it sneaks in there. It's not something that it's subtle and it's unassuming. But let's say you build in that morning affirmation, and let's say you also create a space on your way. It could be on the train, it could be in a car, a ride share, it could be in the car where you're driving. You listen to a meditation that doesn't require you to close your eyes, especially if you're driving the car, and
Yeah.
you are able to just listen to something peacefully and not doom scroll in the morning, to refrain from being on the phone, to refrain from listening to triggering news, to keep yourself in a mini bubble for as long as you can until you get to the job or wherever you have to show up that day. Even if you're stay-at-home mom and you have a ton of things you have to do, it doesn't have to be a place that you're showing up to work with other people. So if you build in that unassuming routine in the morning and then you have one at night where you let go of that energy that you've let's say absorbed all day, and let's say you have a nighttime bathing ritual, then you incorporate a visualization exercise while you're in the shower, that everything that you just collected from the day is going down the drain, is being returned to everywhere else that it needs to be. All the
I love
energy that
it.
you've taken on, it goes away, it goes back to its rightful owners. And it's something as simple as that. So it's something that already exists in what you're already doing, so it doesn't feel like it takes anything from you. And I always tell people, since it's not taking from you, it's implied that it's giving to you. So
Right,
let's see how it feels to just incorporate those steps first. And then
right.
if that feels good, and let's say we do that for a week, let's add another thing, and then we'll add and add and add until this person's entire morning routine has been revamped.
I love it. And those kinds of things like, letting all the energy that's not yours go down the drain, it's soothing because it's like a release.
Yeah, it's a release. It's great to think that you can send all that crappy energy that you experience back to whoever gave it to you, right? So it's like, oh
Right.
yeah, you that person that was not nice to me at Starbucks can go and take that energy back that I observed, or whatever interactions that we had throughout the day. I'm from New
Yeah.
York, so there's a whole bunch of different interactions you can experience over here. So it's really just a great way of just saying, this isn't mine. I'm not going to
Right.
sleep with this. This isn't mine. I'm not going to take this on. This isn't mine. I'm not going to carry this. It's not my responsibility to have that.
Right.
But I think people when they sit with me initially, I think sometimes there's some reservation of, oh my God, this is going to create more work for me. And in reality, it doesn't.
Well, no, because it's actually soothing because you're releasing and letting go. And when you release like that energy that you pick up throughout your day, it's like pieces of lint that are stuck to your sweater. And when you
Yeah.
take a shower and you just let it all go to through the drain, you could even I'm a big deep breather, just three big breaths. I'm breathing in peace and I'm exhaling all everybody else's energy and just visualize it leaving you or down the drain, anything like that is so soothing. You feel lighter and you're more relaxed to go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you have a better night's sleep, oh, oops.
The world is a better place when you get a
Yeah,
better night's
exactly.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. And I mean it's very unique community that you've built from, like you said, massage to Reiki to sound baths and I'm a big proponent of, everything is a frequency and if you can change your vibe, it changes your life.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's a lot of what I teach in my sessions with the law of attraction is I do a lot of education on frequency and how everything has a frequency. And I go through the metaphysical background information about what people need to understand about frequency and how everything can be measured in hertz. And then we
Right.
go based on what you want to attract. So we attract more of what we feel. So let's shift how you feel so you attract more of what you want. Because sometimes people don't understand that it's an unconscious thing that they're focusing on
Right.
something that's unconsciously attracting more of what they don't want. So usually when I
Right.
ask people to tell me what they do want, the first thing they're able to tell me is everything they don't want. So then I usually just reframe that and say, okay, so then if you're telling me you don't want all of this, that must mean you want all of that. So we're halfway
Right.
there.
I love it. Just
Yeah.
getting them to shift their perspective to the positive and just reframing it and saying it in a positive way changes the whole energy that you're sending out to the universe and then what you're getting back.
Right. Exactly.
So I love it. And I love solfeggio tones. I don't know if you're
Yep.
like, oh my
Solfeggio.
gosh,
Yep.
they're so soothing. And the solfeggios you can play while you're doing the dishes or cooking dinner. So
Yep. You can
the
even
things
listen to
that you
them while
have
you
to
sleep.
do, yeah, the things that you have to do anyways, you can have them playing in the background. And I found huge releases with that also.
Oh yeah. Yep. I back when we had CDs, I had the Solfeggio techniques in the chakra colors and I would
Okay.
give those out to my clients. Now I don't have to do that. Now we can just share it online as an MP3, but yeah, that's I've had those since I had Eckhart Tolle in a
Yeah.
DVD form. So
I love it. Yeah, technology keeps marching on.
yep.
But all these ancient modalities, I feel like we're pulling them all back, and more people are realizing they work, they're accepting them, and they're, like you said, marrying the East and the West, that both are good for you, body, mind, and soul.
Absolutely. And also like if it works and you feel better, why does it matter how it worked? Let's just take it. It worked. Okay,
Right.
great. Let's go with it.
Right, I hear you. So, do you have any final wisdom that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, something I said earlier was investing in yourself will always pay you back. And I think it's really important for us to start to shift the mentality on what it means to invest in ourselves. And I think, more and more people will try to find, a cheaper solution for what they might be feeling. And I think that's how people end up perpetuating their pain. So if we can just try to as a community shift the mentality of what mental health is and consider it more of a mental wealth, and we could probably get a little further in our world if we shifted the way we look at how we invest in ourselves.
I love it. And especially women not feeling guilty to take the time to care for yourself because everyone in your life benefits from that.
Absolutely, absolutely, everybody benefits from you feeling better, including yourself and everybody that you love.
Exactly. Well, it has been such a pleasure talking to you today, Christina, and I will share your website and links on the podcast notes. And thank you so much for
Thank
being on
you.
the Healing Soul.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I always pick an intuitive heart oracle card, and today's is perfect. Forgive yourself and others. Let it go. Forgiving yourself and others is very freeing to your soul. Write down the hurt you're experiencing on a piece of paper, read it out loud, and say, I release this to the universe. Imagine it floating away from you. And then take your piece of paper, put it in a bowl, and burn it. And now move on feeling lighter and brighter, forgiving yourself and forgiving others. Thank you for listening to the Healing Soul podcast. Hit the follow button and share this episode with a friend. Know that God loves you, and so do I. The Healing Soul, empowering wellness and oneness. Thank you.